Hello, I'm Chrissy Seaton. Welcome to my channel. Well, what does the 1st of Kislev mean for Noahides? How do we relate to this and what significance does it have? Well, we have to travel back a little bit in history because I ask you to cast your mind back to when Noah came out of the ark after the flood. Noah faced a whole different world. It was nothing like the world had been before. And Noah and his descendants had to relate to the animals and to the environment in a totally different way than before the flood. So things had to change. And also, it was after Noah exited the ark that God actually gave mankind permission to eat meat. And that is where we have the 7th law, which is called Ava Minahai, meaning do not eat the flesh of a still living animal. And that there were 6 laws prior to that, and after exiting the ark, the 7th law was given to Noah by God. So there is sometimes a misunderstanding about what we actually as Noahides commemorate on the 1st of Kislev. It's not actually commemorating the giving of the 7 Noahide commandments, although the 7th Noahide commandment, that's where the name Noahide commandments comes from, but the 7th universal commandment was given on exiting the ark. But the previous 6 had been given pre-flood, and that's what we call the Adamic time. And post-flood, we call that Noahic time. And hence the Noahide laws is where the name comes from, Noahide, just to clear that up. So let's look at what this relates to for Noahides. Now, the 1st of Kislev this year, 2020, that will be Tuesday, the 17th of November. And Kislev is the month in the Jewish calendar. So the first day of that month is equivalent to the 17th of November, 2020. So first of all, let's look at some significant things here to consider. So we understand that Noah and his offspring descendants were given permission to eat meat. And also a rainbow was set in the sky, that bow of promise that God would never destroy the earth again on account of man. And of course, you're all familiar with the rainbow. We see that quite frequently all over the world. And it is a promise, that covenant, the rainbow covenant, as some people refer to it, that was given to Noah post-flood. But also, when you see that wondrous rainbow, and we've all gazed at it and thought about God's promise, but do you know it is also a warning to us as well? While it is reminding us of God's promise, when we see a rainbow, God is also saying, careful, 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 watch your step. So we need to consider that as well. So how do we go about commemorating this time? Well, there has been some information put out, and I would like to just explain to you how we can relate to that 1st of Kislev as a Noahide. So we look at our abilities, our gifts that we have. Some people are good carpenters, some people are musicians, some people are sewers, and the list goes on. Some people are very academic. And so on that day, we celebrate all those gifts and blessings that we have, but in a manner of putting it to good use. Now, I want you to hold that thought because I'm going to come back to it shortly. But in the meantime, I want to come back to a little bit more about the 1st of Kislev. And we need to focus. It's actually a day of focus and hope. And so it's meant to be a joyous occasion for us. And so it would be appropriate that we certainly have a meat-based meal, and particularly in Australia, what better excuse for a good old-fashioned Aussie barbecue. Wonderful way to have friends and neighbours over, an impromptu barbecue, and explain, do you know why we're having this tonight or this afternoon or for lunch? And you can explain and tell them this story that I'm telling you, that this is for us a day of hope and focus, and it relates to our blessings, our special gifts we have, and what we can do in return for God. So, one of the things is you could organise a charity barbecue. You and some friends could get together and maybe at the school, or could be in your workplace, and put on an impromptu barbecue and charge people, I don't know, $1, $2, whatever, and donate that money to a worthy cause. You could do it amongst your friends in your street, neighbourhood. There's a number of ways you could do it. That's something. And not only are you celebrating and spreading the word about the 7 Noahide laws and what we have to be joyous about, but also you're raising some money and we're celebrating. And only Aussies don't need much of an excuse to have a celebration or a barbecue. So how good is that? And at this time of the year, the weather's quite nice. It's not too hot. You could quite easily have one at work. It's a work day, something like that. I know it's short notice, but I'm sure, knowing Aussie ingenuity, you could organise something like that. So when I say we look at our abilities, our professions, our trades and our crafts and our special gifts and talents that we have, then that also is something to celebrate and give thanks for. So there may be things related to your special talents or abilities that you can also do in this month of Kislev towards service to Hashem, service to God, because that is what our life is about as Noahides. It's about our service to the divine, to do the will of the divine. So any of you who have special talents out there, perhaps you could lend those to a worthy cause. And it's a wonderful medicine for you as a person. And just think how much joy someone will get out of that. You might have a beautiful voice, sing. You might be very good at narrating. Go and volunteer to read some books to the elderly or to children. There are many, many things that you would have of yourself that just cost your time. So that's a bit of a start into what the 1st of Kislev is all about. And while we don't have an obligated ceremony or anything such as that, it is an opportunity, and we are certainly allowed to celebrate this occasion of the 1st of Kislev, because the flood was over. Noah and his descendants were safely out of the ark, and it is worth commemorating as Noahides. It directly relates to our journey. We're all descendants of Noah. without Noah, none of us would be here. So it's appropriate to do that and to concentrate on your family and your community, maybe a family meal, volunteer for charity projects, if especially during this month. And the main focus is helping your fellow man and celebrating the blessings that we have, and an opportunity while doing that to explain what the 1st of Kislev means for Noahides and how special it is for all mankind. And if you can put a narrative to why we are doing this, people understand that, and then they have an understanding then from you about the importance of those 7 universal divine commandments that are for all mankind, Jews and Gentiles. So I hope this video will be of help to you, and I hope that on the 17th of November that you have been able to arrange some little celebrative occasion either with your family or your workmates, and it'll be a great blessing for you, and it will be a benefit to those that you're sharing with as well. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, and please take care, and God bless.